Hi folks, we're here again with Dr. Hamm's Stephen Miner, ibuyoldbeer.com, and in this video we will be discussing the infamous marble background. Now with these signs being 50 or so years old, that is one of the most common things to go bad on them is the marble background. It's very fragile. Very often it's dried out and cracks and pops. And
the heat of the light bulb makes them very brittle.
Yep, and we're going to discuss here with Dr. Hamm's proper installation of a replacement marble background. Steve, take it away.
Okay, obviously the old marble background is already removed from this one. And when you get these signs, if it's the first time that it's been opened, what they do is they originally lay these pieces in, and then they had a machine that came down and melted these little tabs. And the best thing you can do is what I do is I take a little pliers and just squeeze each one of these, and what it does is that basically breaks off the melted portion of the tab, leaving, as you can see, a tab left for locating the black marble, or the black grit. So you just give them a little squeeze, and like I say, break off that melted portion, and then you are able to lift this entire piece right out of the sign. And lifts up. Now these logo plates, they just pop in from the back. They just snap in kind of from the back, like so, leaving you with this black grit, I call it. Now obviously this is a good time, if it's dirty, clean it up. If you want to paint it gloss black, I prefer not to. I like it in the natural black color, but I mean if it's really roughed up, you can paint them. This is actually a semi-gloss black. Okay, so the first step you need to do is you'll see these little tabs here. And what those were, when they originally did these, they had little die cut holes all the way around, so that when that laid on there and then they melted it, it melted everything into place, including this, the thing, and thus trapping the logo plates.
And this marble background went on, and it did have little die cut holes that match up with those tabs there.
Okay, so my reproduction ones do not have those little die cut holes because throughout the years things shift, whatever, and if you were to die cut them, not only is it's expensive, but a lot of times they don't line up quite right. So I decided not to do that, and so here's how we install them. First of all, you got to take a little side cutters, and I just taken. Sorry, Emma, I'm going to make a mess here. You take and just cut off these little tabs. They just kind of snap off, like so. What you want to have is a nice flush surface to mount your blue marble. And this piece is pretty tough. You're not going to hurt it any. Just kind of snip them off.
And a lot of times, as you say too, it's good to, what do you use for cleaning up the plastic? I find Armor All works pretty good, doesn't it?
Well, Armor All works okay. What I use, I have actually cleaning it, I have a product made by Zepp. It's called A1. And I use it for the floors at my auto shop. And the stuff is amazing. It doesn't cause the colors to run, and especially if you have nicotine, or it just, honest to God, it just makes the stuff roll off. I mean, it is really a good cleaner. But another good one is called Fantastic. Comes in a spray bottle. That one also is very good. Obviously, if you're going to spray like your logo plates, make sure that it's safe, so you don't want to run the colors. I mean, you don't want anything too harsh. Like 409 will smear those colors in a heartbeat. So don't use it on
anything printed.
Anything printed. On here, they would be fine, because obviously you don't have anything to. Emma's going to be picking these up for the next year. Okay, so what I've done now, as you can see, is I've trimmed all those little tabs off around here. So basically, we've got a nice flat surface. Okay, so what I do then, I set this back in. Oh, I forgot a step. Sorry, I'm nervous with the camera on me. Okay, so I take the blue marble, and what I do is I match it up. You just line it up so that everything is lined up nice. The light white portions, you can't see any white top or bottom. And then I take these little clamps. These are little. I got a disclaimer here. I didn't come fully prepared. I didn't realize I was going to be doing this, so we had to go shopping today, so these, mine are a little bit bigger, but this, you get the idea. So what I do is I clamp this in place. Okay, see, this has already shifted a little bit on me. You can kind of tell there's kind of lines in here that kind of line up. So you want to just make sure that there's no white showing around. And obviously you can kind of look and see your border. If it's even, then you know you're pretty much in good shape. And the reason I do this, I'll show you in a second. It just makes things a little bit easier. So I clamp it like that, and then I take a scissors, and when I make these, I make them a little bit big just for that reason. But I take the scissors, and I trim this absolutely square to the black grid.
And Steve lives 100 miles away from me, or 2 hours. He came up today to pick up some beer signs for a friend. And I said, well, Steve, wouldn't it be a great use of our collective time here to show the wondrous, adoring public how to install these? And he agreed. So here we are. But Steve's a lifelong friend that if I broke down outside my house with my vehicle, he would come up here to rescue me. I could tell you many stories about our friendship, but he has physically all of these Hamm's parts, and he has sourced them and improved them over, I suppose, more than a decade.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And you often fix, there's other vendors that do sell these, and people sometimes are not very pleased with the results. We won't name names or anything, but a lot of times you're fixing other people's problems here.
Okay, so now what we've got is we have the blue marble trimmed to the exact size of our black grid. And the reason I do that, you'll see here shortly. Okay, now we lay the black grid back down in the case. And then what I do is I take a little Dremel tool. And you see these little tabs? Obviously, again, we got to have this flush. So I take the Dremel tool. Just grind these down flush. It's just like Emma working on your teeth. The Dremel tool, and I've ground these locating tabs down flush with the black grid all the way around. And then, of course, earlier we removed these little tabs. Basically, what you want is a nice flat surface. So you set that in place. Then these are your logo plates. And what I like to use is a Novus polish. Start with number 2 and then go to number 1. I think Barry's done a video on that. Just be a little careful with number 2 because it will take, I mean, you don't get crazy with it, but that'll polish these up really nice. And those just lay right in the grid like so. No need to glue them. They're not going to go anywhere. Make sure they fit nice and flush. Okay, and then so what I use is what is called 3M Super Strength Adhesive, made right here in St. Paul. It comes in a little tube. Barry's got a picture of it there. And we went 3 different places. We weren't able to find any. And we got this, but I'm a little concerned using that because I don't know how that'll affect the plastic. The 3M Super Strength Adhesive I know works.
And if you're watching this from 3M by some rare chance here in St. Paul where we're filming this, please let us know where to get this maximum strength adhesive. Steve goes to his little Ace Hardware in Hooterville, Minnesota, and they have it on hand. 3 big box stores. We struck out today in Maplewood and St. Paul. So this is what you need. It won't run the colors on this. Yep. And then, Steve, the best part, you said...
If you ever have to take this apart again, it will come apart without wrecking this. That's what I like about it. You know, the chances of this ever having to come apart again is slim and none, but if you do, you know, that's the best part about it. And I use that on a lot of stuff, and it's great glue. Great glue. Okay, so once you get that, get your 3M adhesive, and then what I do is I just take and I run a thin bead around the outside. Now, as you're running the bead, run it right over the top of these locating tabs as you're going around. And then what I do is I just take my finger and smooth it out so that it's nice and smooth all the way around. You don't need a lot. And you got to be careful. You don't want it hanging over these edges. But run it right over, and then it would affect, not only helps glue this down, but it holds this black grid into place. So you're actually gluing right over the top of these tabs. Okay, now you remember earlier I cut this out perfectly square so that I know. So now I can lay this in place and line it up with the grid, and I know that thing is centered. Otherwise, you're kind of trying to lift up to make sure that everything is in place. But if you have that square with that grid, you know the white portions are lined up and everything is looking good. You glue it down like that, and then I just set some items around the corner and let it set. And it sets pretty quickly. It's like I say, it's really good glue. And when it's done,
there you go.
how nice does that look? I might be a little bit off here.
No, that looks wonderful.
Yep. So that's how you do it.
Fantastic. Again, if you wish to know more, Dr. Hamm's, Stephen Miner. This is not his full-time job, but it is his passion and hobby. If you have any questions, email him at miner@bevcom with 2Ms.net. And that is our blue marble background installation video.